Hey, welcome back to another live Q&A session here. We call them PLR implementation sessions. And this is Justin Popovich from Tools for Motivation. And today I'm actually joined as well. I have a co-host with me, Chad Fullerton. Chad, say hello.
Hello, guys. Thanks for joining us on this little video here. You can check me out at chadfullerton.com.
Yes, absolutely. Chad's been a longtime partner with us at Tools for Motivation. And surely if you've been following us for any length of time, you've seen Chad in other sessions. And I was just telling the folks that are here with us live before we hit record that it really is super helpful for me to have a co-host and someone like Chad that I've worked together with. It just makes it so much easier to flow with these things, to not miss any questions. We want to make these sessions as interactive as we can for the people that do show up live. And even if you're watching on the recording, have a space for you to know that you can submit questions for our future ones and that we won't miss them. We'll be able to address them and answer them in as much detail as possible. And what's pretty cool about this type of Q&A session is that we're able to freely think about our answers and kind of go with the flow with what people are chatting with right now. And we're going to address things. I've got a couple of questions that were sent in advance, address things that I've covered in the past, but we haven't covered in a while. So it never hurts to re-answer questions that we've already looked at, because we know there's people that are new here that haven't necessarily been looking at Tools for Motivation, or if you've been working with Chad, maybe you haven't seen him dealing with PLR in the past. So we want to be able to cover all of it and try to address people's needs, whether you're brand new or even if you're super experienced and you want us to kind of go through something more advanced. We're happy to talk about all of the above. And then, of course, if neither Chad or I know, we'll also tell you that. If there's something we can't answer, we'll go and help you find the answer. I mean, that's how we all kind of grow together, right? Does that sound good?
Yep.
Let's do it. Okay, so we have some questions that came in live here, which I will get to. But because I had a couple of sent in advance, I thought it'd be kind of cool to start there, and then we'll build forward and kind of go in that order. So I'm not going to go into full presentation mode here. I've got a slide deck running. You can kind of see it on my screen. It's large enough that you can read it, but if I have it here, I can also view the questions live. It just makes things easier. So this was from Garth, and he's saying that the PLR resources are great. He was talking about a specific mailer from us, but even if you're getting PLR from other people, a lot of the stuff we're talking about today, apply this to any private label rights. He's saying, however, I'm not sure I'm making use of them fully. Do you have a model or sample video to outline how to put a PLR package into a course, free or otherwise, to collect emails? So great question. It covers a couple of key things. The first one being, do you have a model or sample video to outline how to put a PLR package into a course? And the answer is absolutely yes. We have actually several of these, and they range from sort of like these short, 5-minute tutorial type of videos that we put up on YouTube, and you can find them in our training portfolio at Tools for Motivation, right through to like fully in-depth, like webinar style trainings and everything in between. So as an example, when I first started this webinar, I talked about our guest here today, Chad. Chad, you probably recall it. Last year around this time, you and I did we called it Do-It-Yourself Course Building Video Implementation Series. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah, so what we've done, and I'm actually going to I'll pull the page up here in just a second. So what we did in that training was Chad and I worked together, and we brainstormed the idea for a course that we wanted to create. We were creating it specifically to teach our PLR users how to do it, but we created a course that, in theory, we could go out and sell. In our case, it was in the self-help, personal growth space. And the idea behind it was, let's go and kind of browse through Tools for Motivation and come up with a 5 or 6 module course on a topic. I think we ended up calling the course Unleash Your Higher Self. I don't know if you remember that, Chad, or not, but
Yep.
Yeah. And so we brainstormed it together, and then we kind of divided and conquered. So I was doing a bunch of the setup, and then Chad actually went behind the scenes and did like a whole bunch of work in terms of picking apart different PLR packages, reformatting them, and then in the end coming out with a course that could be packaged and sold. And it was like, to me, it was just a phenomenal example of how you could build a course, but do it in like probably 90% less time than it would take you if you were writing it from scratch. Now, in this case, we were using PLR that matched our intended course objective, which was a self-help product. If you're doing something that's outside of that, so as an example, a common usage model at Tools Motivation is we get health, wellness, fitness professionals coming to us, and they like Tools Motivation to provide them with like mindset and motivation for their clients. But our content is written strictly as sort of mindset and motivation. It doesn't actually have references to somebody doing a workout or starting a new nutrition plan. So they would have to make more adjustments to the content than somebody, let's say in our course, where it was literally just take a self-help PLR product and turn it into a self-help course. Does that make sense, Chad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've came up with I guess like an overall theme, and then a goal for what they would have at the end, and then just found products that fit and matched with that theme.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do here, and this was actually what I was going to email you, Garth. I'm going to put it in here in the chat. This will go to all attendees. This is called the DIY course building pilot offer. Now, that should be visible to everybody live. And then if you're watching the recording, we'll make sure this link is somewhere available for you. Now, this was done in a unique way. So Chad and I did the training and we put it together with an offer. So I would suggest there's a few kind of gems here. The first is this page actually gives you, as you can see here, part one, a totally free training. You don't have to pay anything to get a full answer to your question, Garth, in terms of, do you have any instructions on how to turn PLR into a course? This would be my answer. Watch this 28-minute video and then pay special attention to the steps and bullet points below the video where I've kind of summarized things. But this is a very key training. But over and above that, look at the way this page has been structured. From put yourself in my shoes as a seller in the business that I run. This offer has been one of our best converting offers over the course of the last 12 months. So it acts as a training page, and we share this out all the time. Like the people on my help desk are instructed to send this link to people anytime they ask about needing help with courses. So they come here, and then it gives them all kinds of value in terms of just giving them free training. But then the page actually has a special offer in it. So what we were doing is we're literally teaching you how to build a course with PLR in this video. And then below it, we're actually selling you the course that we built in the video. So we're showing you how to do it, but then we're giving you all the assets we built while teaching you, so that you could you could just take it and run with it, or you could just use it as sort of a study piece, right? So you could easily do this in your market, in your niche, in your model. Again, whatever it is. I know there's Tools Motivation customers from virtually every market out there. So you could adapt this to, let's say you're a business coach and you're helping people turn their business. Like, look at today's kind of world right now, right? A lot of people are losing their offline components of their business and they're having to fully go online. And you're a business coach helping people do that. You could totally set up an offer like this, where you give value at the top, and then you give an offer at the bottom where you're just giving them more of what you already taught them. What do you think of that, Chad?
Yeah, that's a great model, just because you're giving the value without any trickery or anything, right? Or any kind of paywall.
Exactly. Like this doesn't work in every model, but some of the comments we've had here already on the webinar chat is that people are saying, hey, I like the value you deliver. You guys bring a lot of value in terms of like your integrity, or I love your tutorial videos. It's because we try to lead a lot of the time with education-based marketing. So when you structure offers this way, just kind of mixes it up where it's like, hey, if you want to learn, go here. And if you like the offer, great. If not, that's cool too. Like just watch the training. And then you've left them with a good feeling either way, whether they're a customer right now or they're not. You've created a piece of value, and now maybe they'll open your next email or your next promotion next month or whatever. Even if they don't take this one, you've enhanced the course of their life in some way. So I thought that was kind of a neat example, because hopefully it answers your question, Garth, and we can give you some more links as well. It answers the first part of your question anyways, but it also kind of gives that extra little tip in terms of, you may want to try this type of marketing in your own business. Now, the second part of his question was also kind of cool because it's like, hey, um, can you turn a course into something free that you give away to collect emails? And the answer is, yeah, absolutely. I highly recommend doing this. And one of the models that we use in a lot of our campaigns is we suggest that people take PLR content, even if it's, let's say, in like a raw ebook format. Like on Monday of next week, we're recording this video towards the end of May in 2020. So the final week of May, we have a new launch coming out for a product called Regaining Focus. Right now in the world, a lot of people have been distracted for the first part of the year, and we want to help them regain focus back to being productive. And that's really what makes people feel good, is like being a productive citizen and doing well in their company or their business or their job, whatever. And in that product, there is an ebook teaching people a 6-step system for focusing again. Well, what we're giving away partway through that launch is a repurposed version of the ebook that's a 5-day mini course version of it. And what I love about taking an ebook and repurposing it into a 5-day mini course is that potential subscribers look at a mini course or some kind of educational opportunity as a higher value piece of content than they would an ebook or a report. I don't know what it is. Chad, I'm sure you would agree, but like something about the word course, mini course, training, education, masterclass holds higher value in people's minds than ebook. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, and once you add video to it, even if it's just you with a voiceover and slides, which Justin's done a million trainings on how to do it, you take your ebook, you put some slides to it. You can use Canva, and that just the video quality adds so much more value to the freebie, where it's not just a download that's going to sit on their computer. They actually have to actively watch it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what you could do here is I actually pulled up a couple of pages. So this is an example. I wouldn't model this example exactly, but it is one of our lead generation funnels at Tools Motivation, although I don't pay for any traffic to come here and it's very minimally used right now. And I just say that because we have better funnels, but this still works. And we've definitely generated at least 1,000 leads through this particular funnel. So here is like a front end offer saying, hey, here's some stuff you can get for free, sign up for our list. And below it, we kind of explain what you can do with it. In Garth's example, he's asking, can I create a course using PLR and use that to build my list? Yes, you can. And you would follow a model very much like this. So instead of 5 motivational audiobooks, you could have a 5-day mini course or a 5-part free training or whatever. And maybe you even have a version of the course up for sale on your website somewhere else with a price tag on it. And then you have this private page here with sort of like a quote unquote backdoor access to it where it's $0. Now you've created this separation in value where it's like, wow, I've got this private link and I'm able to get this thing that's otherwise normally has a price tag attached to it. And then what they can do is they opt in with their name and their email. I recently have actually been using more of a $0 order model. I just want to mention that quick because an opt-in is where people put their name and email and they hit subscribe to your list, versus a $0 order model is if you have a shopping cart system, you can ask people to purchase a product for $0. They still get added to your list, but it does something a little bit different for that new subscriber. It teaches them, well, first of all, it makes them create an account in your system, your shopping cart system. But second of all, it kind of trains them to buy from you, even though it's $0. And they don't have to give up any credit card information. They just create a name and an email and they order it. But it's a $0 order versus an opt-in. There's some kind of weird psychology that happens there. We've had better success in terms of conversions and numbers when it's a $0 order versus an opt-in. So I just wanted to mention that. And then what happens here is people opt in and then they're brought to this little bridge page. It says, thanks for signing up. Please check your email to confirm your subscription. And then we've got this, unfortunately right now, weirdly formatted page. We should fix this up a bit. We've got this little upsell offer. It's like, hey, check out this special offer that goes with it. And it's just more of what they've already opted in for. So they opted in for some audio. Here's 13 more audio programs at a bulk discount. If somebody already kind of knows that they want this stuff, they may take a look at this deal. And then I don't have the thank you page, but you could have a thank you page that has the free download they already signed up for, and then you could revisit your upsell again. You could remind them that you've got other things for sale and so on. It's a classic lead generation funnel. But going to Garth's question, we actually have over here, let's see if I can find this. No, not that one. I've got a couple other slide decks here. If you bear with me for 1 second. I may not have it up. Let me just see here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So I just wanted to explain this concept because I think it's important. So Garth, if you, let's say you want to do the whole like free course thing, and you want to maybe start with a single PLR book from Tools Motivation. So our ebooks are like 6,000 words on average. So what you could do is you could either take one of our ebooks and break it into a 5-day course yourself, or buy one of our offers that actually has the 5-day mini course bonus added, which our focus product next week will have it. And if you want to ask our help desk, we have a half dozen that also have that feature from the past. And then what you do is, instead of doing this model here on the left where it's like, hey, I'm Justin Popovich, welcome to whatever. If you give me your name and email right now, I'm going to send you my full report on, in this case, it was how to boost your willpower. What you could do is change it to this model where it's sign up now and get my 5-day mini course on boosting your willpower. And each and every day, you just send them a mini bite-sized update or tip on boosting their willpower, maybe with one action or one suggested thing they can do before the next day. And then they're still going on your email list, but now instead of just giving them all the information in one go, you're breaking it out into 5 days, which does a couple of things. One, it creates 5 immediate follow-ups for you, which is a very good habit to get into, right? Email marketing on a frequent, consistent basis is a good thing to do for digital business. Some people don't like the frequency we mail at, which is daily. Some people would rather do 5 days a week or 3 days a week. It's fine. Your market, you kind of have to look at who you are as a marketer, what your customers want, and so on. Very rarely does it work well if you do it less than at least a few times a week. If you're mailing once a month, email marketing is not going to work for you. So something like this would give you 5 immediate emails. Boom, you're up and running. And then your content's pretty much done because you've taken a PLR ebook and you've just taken 5 or 6, whatever it is, let's say 5 days, so 5 lessons out of that book. And all you're doing is writing a quick email saying lesson number 1 is X. And then you just send them either a PDF or you could link them to a private page on your website or whatever, and just give them a small action item. So you're still teaching them what was in this full ebook, but you're doing it in a bite-sized format and you're doing it in a way that allows you to interact with them more often. So what I like about it is it's a higher perceived value, so you'll convert better. It's a powerful form of delivery in terms of getting result for the customer. If they opt into your list and get a giant report, read the whole thing and never do anything, are they getting any value? No. If they opt in and get a 5-day course and over the course of 5 days, they get a quick tip that they actually try and it works for them, are they getting value? Yes. So I like it better. It works better to do a course this way. It's also valuable content. Once you've taken an ebook, transformed it into a 5-day course, that's something you could sell. Or you could blend with other things. Or like Chad was mentioning, record those 5 lessons in your voice, either audio or video. Now you've got a video course, and the value's higher than just an ebook. And then, of course, 5 interactions instead of 1, which I mentioned before. So I'm just going to pause here, Chad, to see if you have any thoughts or anything you want to add to that. Like, I mean, what do you think of this model? Have you seen people trying stuff like this?
And Ben was just saying, is this the same as a challenge? Yeah, you can call this a 5-day challenge. You can call this whatever you want to call it. It's just a 5-day autoresponder series with lots of value and no selling them anything in the emails, right? It's just really great value. And one of the advantages is that when you get someone on your email list for the first time, your email credibility through your email sending provider depends on how many people open your emails and actually look at it, right? So if Gmail and Google sees that people are opening all 5 emails, the first 5 emails sent from you, then you won't get stuck in the promotions tab or marked as spam as quickly as someone who signs up for an email list and then just never interacts with you again. So that's a great way just to get engagement on your email list with Google. The other thing is that you're also able to, since you're sending it as an email and not as a PDF ebook, you can also hyperlink to other things in the email. Maybe you have other blog posts that are related on your site. You can, part of the tip is you give them the lesson. Then at the end you say, hey, if you really enjoyed this, go to my blog where I also share this tip and this other tip. And that gets them to go to your website and start exploring your blog content, right? Just a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. And another kind of just thing to touch on what Chad mentioned there is you can definitely, again, it depends on your style of marketing, but you can definitely give away 5 days of free value without quote unquote selling, but you can still sell because you can creatively put things into those emails where it's just giving away value. But let's say, for example, instead of, let's say day one is a lesson and then a quick exercise or 2 exercises. That could be a PDF download attached to the email, or it could be click this link and get lesson number 1, and it goes to a private page on your website. But imagine the top of the page is the video or just like a printout of the lesson, and below that is the exercise. Mm-hmm. Well, on that same page, you now have the opportunity to do kind of some soft selling or cross promotion of other things that are going on. So maybe you have a launch running at the same time that you're giving away this 5-day course. You're not necessarily coming out and saying, hey, buy my launch, but you're sending them a piece of free content. And then that free content is kind of subtly letting them know that there's other things going on. If they're getting a lot of value from that, they may just go ahead and check it out. So I would encourage you to kind of experiment with that. It works really well for us. I mentioned this on the last Q&A on our thank you pages. So if somebody buys from us on the thank you page, we'll actually use that real estate to cross-sell or upsell other things, even though the primary function of the thank you page is to deliver the download link of what they just purchased. We are able to generate more revenue for our company by tactfully inserting cross promotions and other items for sale without being super intrusive to the download process, right? I'm not making them scroll through pages and pages of ads before they get to their download link. That would be a bad idea. Mm-hmm. But subtly mentioning something definitely works well. And we always do it in a way that it won't interrupt them. So if they just want to skip over it and go to the thing they bought, it's great. So just wanted to mention that because you can sell without being salesy. And if you have good stuff that if people signed up to get advice from you about boosting your willpower and you have a video course that costs money that's actually going to help them get results and maybe fix their life, then they should know about your video course because you're helping them, right? Especially if they can get it at a discount or a deal or some kind of bonus that you're adding on in a short-term promotion, right? So don't
Melanie's mentioning
sell, but yeah, you can tactfully.
Melanie's just mentioned that you could add a Q&A Facebook Live at the end, maybe to invite them into a different program too. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Facebook Lives are definitely growing. I still have yet to do many of them. The few I've been on, I was on one with Sharon Sheldon, and it was awesome. Like, it wasn't even that many people. I think live we had a couple dozen people, and then maybe a few hundred watched the recording, but it generated a lot of business for us. So don't think that just because there's only a handful of people on your live, that there's not results happening in business, because there are.
And you can always repurpose the lives. Like the lives stay on Facebook afterwards. So now people find, like I have clients who do Facebook Lives every week, and maybe there's 3 or 4 people on it live, but then over the course of the week, maybe 70 or 80 people watch that video over the week, right? So make sure that they stay evergreen for the week at least. Melanie just mentioned that she loves the idea of the $0 order. And going back to that point about the $0 order, it's also great because you get them into, if you're using WooCommerce, you get them into signing up for your store if they're a new person, right, Justin?
Oh yeah, exactly. They sign up for your store. And then as an example here with ActiveCampaign, here, automations, you can get them into an automation. So like as an example, here's I'm previewing some stuff that hasn't even gone live yet. So even if it's a $0 order, when you have an integration between your shopping cart and your autoresponder, and if you're using an autoresponder system like ActiveCampaign, what else, Chad, would have something like an automation? Drip.
Yeah, like Drip, MailerLite, any of those, yeah.
Yeah. So you can do behavior-based marketing. It's not cooperating with me right now, but anyway, if that opens, great. Otherwise, I'll just talk through it. Now I can put them through a sequence of events saying, okay, we have this person order this $0 product. Over the course of the next few days, do this. Okay, here it's popping up now. So the person buys this product, or maybe in this case, it's a $0 product, and they go through a series of intellectual marketing campaigns. So do they have this tag on their account yet? No? Okay, well then offer them this product. We have 2 different thank you emails that go out whether or not they bought our upsell. So if you bought the upsell, we're not going to remind you to buy it again, right? So we send you here. If you didn't buy the upsell, we remind you here. but you still get the same thank you email, which includes a surprise bonus from us as well, which is another tip I was maybe going to touch on later. Is PLR is a great way to spoil your customers and give them value over and above things they even expected. So you offer something for sale, you put it on a great deal, you deliver the product, you give a great experience, and then afterwards you say, just for being an awesome customer, here's some more free stuff. PLR is a great way to spoil your customers. So we do that in a lot of our thank you emails here. And then we can do all this other intelligent-based marketing. Like if you look at all this, we're doing a bunch of stuff. And mainly for us, it's selling our membership product. So with a $0 order, it allows you to do this. You can still do it, even if they don't do a $0 order. I just like it better because it just tracks nicer. And like Chad was saying, it gives you that added bonus of having them in your cart. And they get used to checking out from your store versus just signing up for free and getting emails from you. It's just a little bit of a different kickoff point.
Mm-hmm. Tanya says that, believe it or not, she loves getting the upsell offers.
Oh yeah. I'm not, maybe there were some people chatting back and forth if they didn't like it or did like it, but I'm the same way actually. I because I'm a business guy, I like to see how other businesses run their upsells. But I also like to know what else is available to me. Like I know that very often upsells will be a one-time deal or something that I literally can't find anywhere else. So I want to at least consider it. Do I need this thing? And if I'm going to save some money, then why not?
Yeah, if it's a great value and there's a great price, then people love to get that stuff.
And online companies do this a lot. Like believe it or not, they do, because for them they're generating revenue in bulk, so it gives them some cash flow. And then for the customer, it's good because you're able to get something that otherwise may not be at this price point again or anytime soon. So there's usually a good reason to do it for both parties. And again, even if you're just new to business, it's a good thing to study. Like look at how people do their upsells. Maybe you can see some examples of how not to do it in some cases. I remember, I don't know if you know Darren Monroe, Chad, but he used to make these Facebook videos where he would go through these funnels of like some ridiculous launches where there would be like 17 upsells and downsells, and he couldn't even get to the download page, and he would just totally,
oh man,
yeah, he would totally expose them, and then they would still do well in their launch, but it definitely turn me off. So it's like
the no thank links that are like, you got to keep scrolling.
They keep going yeah.
So I've been on some launches and gone through some funnels where they don't even say no thank you. They say something that just like insults the person, like I'm an idiot. Click here if I'm an idiot and don't want this upsell offer, stuff like that. It's just,
oh man. Yeah, like
some people just go a little bit overboard with the upsells.
The main thing you need to know, if you're new to all this, the main thing you need to know is after you buy, and usually it's PayPal, but even if it was your credit card, the payment processor is redirecting you back to the vendor's website, and it's just a page that pops up with these other offers. So you can just close that tab and go check your email for the receipt if you want. You don't need to look at all these pages.
Yeah.
And to that note, there's a couple.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying there's a couple of people actually commenting on I thought it'd be relevant to bring this up. So Gail is saying that our thank you pages, talking about us at Tools for Motivation, are great, well designed to provide the download and offer the upsell without intrusion. Well done. So thank you, Gail, for that. And I'm so glad to hear that, because that's exactly what we're going for. And then obviously, if you're watching this and trying to follow some of our advice, if you can start doing your own lives or webinars like this, then you can also get customers like Gail, for us, coming on and telling you and getting you that feedback. This is happening now live on a call, but we literally have these kind of conversations day in and day out at our help desk in our inbox as well. So we know these things work, and we know they're not bothering people for the most part, and people like them because we actually read and listen to and make changes to our business based on the feedback from our customers, especially our longtime customers that support us. And Ben's saying, I really like TFM's method of delivery. When I buy your PLR, I know that you have upsells, but it feels a lot more professional than some of the other funnels I've gone through. So thank you also, Ben, for that, because you're kind of validating what I'm saying here. We actually do, I believe I mentioned this on the last one, Chad, I'm sure you've seen it by now. We do the pre-checkout upsell, where a lot of people do it post-checkout. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's hit the add to cart button, and then we present the upsell before you've actually pulled your credit card or PayPal account out. So in some cases it's one upsell, in other cases it's two. We usually stop there. but they're always relevant to the main offer. It's not some random thing like, hey, thanks for adding this to your cart. Want this as well? And it's like, thanks for adding the regaining focus product to your cart. Want this one on, I don't know, how to do sit-ups faster? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's always related. And then they can click no really easily. It's right at the top of the page. It's not like we bury it somewhere. It's literally the first thing they see is, hey, before you check out, we've got an upsell. If you don't want to look at it, click here to continue. And then if they do want to check it out, they scroll down. So we make it very easy for them. And again, I mentioned this earlier. This is how I've structured the business along with my partner, Ted. It's just what feels right to us. It's what's worked well. It's generated revenue. Customers seem to like it for the most part. So we run with it. It doesn't have to be the way you do it, but that's just kind of how things roll for us. Okay. I'm going to take a drink here. And Chad, earlier were you saying that I missed a question?
I was just going over a couple of points here. So we can get back to the earlier questions. I think I wrote down 4 of them that we can maybe go over before 2 o'clock. We got Christian was just mentioning that for the courses, the actual content for your mini course or your challenge, whether it needs to be useful but still incomplete. And so there's some people have the philosophy that, you know, your initial freebie is going to have not everything in it. It's going to be holding back on some of the good stuff so that they have to pay for it. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a good question. It's a tough one. For me personally, I wouldn't say hold back as much as I would say only share enough to get the person some immediate results. And it's for 2 reasons. One is, it's like when I had a webinar consultant help me put a webinar together, and he took a look at my first draft and he tore it to shreds because he's like, dude, you've put so much information in this webinar. First of all, it's way too much information for most people to ever wrap their head around, and nobody's got an attention span long enough. Even though the value I put in the webinar to me was like I could charge for this thing. But that's not necessarily a good thing, because if they've never heard of PLR and I'm trying to teach them everything about PLR all in one go, it's not useful for them. So it's much like a mini course. It's like only give them enough to get started. And that's what your mini course should do, is just kind of introduce the topic, maybe agitate the problem a little bit. Like if they're having this problem, they've come to your website, maybe we get back to my other example, you know, the boost your willpower. If your willpower is really dipped in 2020 with everything going on and you want to boost it back up, maybe your course kind of highlights the fact that what's happening right now. Like what are some of the negative implications that you've experienced so far by letting your willpower slide? Let's focus on those for a minute. And then over the course of the next 5 days, I'm going to give you some quick tips to get you started. It's not the full extent of everything I could teach you, but it's going to get you some immediate results so that you can remind yourself of what it's like to have a good willpower, and then you build from there. So to me, it's sort of a scaled back, still high value version, but you're right. You probably don't want to deliver all of your goods in that initial offer, that initial kind of kickoff course, whatever it may be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The idea is to get them. We've all heard the whole, know, like, and trust you thing. It's really so that they can see your personality through the product, see how your teaching style is, and if they get value and they learn something that's really going to help them, then they're going to be looking for learning more from you, right? That's really what it's all about.
Exactly. We do that right now with one of our ad campaigns that's actually running right now on Facebook. So we're spending a significant amount of money on these ads. And what it is, it's giving away a small snippet of our Success Rituals video course, which is pretty much, I think, our top selling product of all time now. And all we're doing is it's literally just one mini lesson out of like hours and hours of content. And it's enough value for somebody that's never used PLR to kind of sit down and take a digestible piece of content. It's, I think, a couple of slides. It's like a 5-minute video segment. The transcript of the content is maybe a page, and it allows them to just say, okay, could I take something like this and turn it into my own lesson for my clients? And most of our prospects say yes to that. So then when I pitch them or I offer them the full course that we extracted that little segment from, they're way more open to getting it, because I haven't overwhelmed them, but I've also delivered enough value for them to see, wow, like it would be really useful for me to have a whole course of this, of the sample that I've seen. So that definitely, that model works well. And Chad nailed it. I think the know, like, trust should be guiding all of your decisions in terms of how you structure that stuff.
Exactly. I'm just going to go back up to our.
There will be a replay, by the way, for anybody asking. Absolutely.
Yeah,
all of these Q&A sessions, they're always recorded, and they'll always be either on YouTube or on our Facebook page, or the download. There'll be a download directly to it, one or the other, or maybe all of them. Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Chet. You were looking for some questions we may have missed.
So the earlier questions, we have one from Ben, who was asking about, he's setting up a membership site and he plans to create several video and audio courses. What is the best recommendation for hosting both audio files and video files?
Okay. So actually, why don't I let you start with this one, Chad, because this is definitely something I know you do all the time.
Yeah, so those two things are two separate things in my mind. Like a membership website is very different than having courses, unless you're just going to be giving the courses as, if you're a member, you get maybe a course a month or something. Because a membership website is just a way to deliver content on a regular basis, right? So if you're delivering courses, I guess that could be what a membership is based around. And then maybe
it could be a membership.
It could be
an education membership in every.
Yeah, like a library of courses. That makes sense. Yeah, there's different ways you can do it. If you're doing membership websites, I usually recommend using WooCommerce. Justin and I focus on using WooCommerce and WordPress for everything. And it's very powerful. There is an official membership plugin, but there's also many other membership plugins that tie into WordPress you can use. And then for the course side of things, LearnDash is the best option for WordPress. If you want to just have courses that, if you don't want to use WordPress at all, maybe you're not wanting to get techie on there and set up your own site with WordPress, you can use something like Teachable, which offers the ability to set up courses, or Thinkific, Teachable or Thinkific. Those are the two top ones right now. Or Podia is another one. And essentially all those three options offer the ability to have recurring monthly subscriptions. And then you would just put your courses in there and make it so that when they become a subscriber, they get access to all your courses. That's probably the easiest way. And then hosting, I would do, make sure that your video files aren't being hosted on your own server if you're using WordPress. You want to make sure that you host your files either on Amazon S3, or if you're doing video, I would probably use Vimeo, which is a really great way because you can lock your video down so that people can't share it easily with people, like if you were to use a YouTube.
Yeah, and you did a demo once, Chad. I'd have to figure out which webinar it was in, where I think you got the premium version of Vimeo and you were able to lock the video embed down so that unless somebody was on a certain URL, they couldn't even play the video. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the big advantage of Vimeo, is that you can, if you're paying for Vimeo, then it's just like YouTube. You can upload your videos, you can embed them, you can do everything. But the advantage of Vimeo is that you can lock it down to a certain domain name. So it only plays the video if it's on a certain domain. And it also makes it so that you can brand the player with your own brand colors and things like that, which you can't do with YouTube. And people can't right click it and share it either. So it does lock it down. It's worth the price if you're using video a lot for courses.
Yeah, but and then if I think you were also asking, I think it was Ben that asked about audio. So I think for audio, any player that embeds, I don't know if it has quite that same level of security. Like SoundCloud, it could be found.
Yeah, SoundCloud's great and a great option. Yeah.
But if you're uploading it to SoundCloud, I guess, could you hide it though, or
you can do unlisted SoundCloud. Yeah.
Okay, so you could use SoundCloud as your audio streaming in your membership, and then something like the paid version. You could even go with the free version of Vimeo and just make it, or even YouTube, and make it unlisted. It's just less secure that way. So if you're if you're really taking your membership seriously and you're going to have a big member base and you want to make sure the content stays very premium for those people, then I would invest in something like the premium Vimeo so that you can lock your videos down. Yeah. Definitely the huge tip though that I want to make sure did not get missed here from Chad was to not host video or audio files on your own server, especially if you're using WordPress, because those are huge files and it will likely cause issues. So definitely host your big files like that elsewhere.
If you get a few people downloading the video at the same time, then your server is gonna really bog down.
Your website will crash, like guaranteed. It's just
Yeah,
not
so there's
cost effective either.
exactly. Yeah, because you're paying for per gigabyte. Ben was asking about, or sorry, Greg was asking about podcasts and where to record or host podcasts. If there's any free or low cost options. I would recommend anchor.fm, which is a free option if you just want to get started with podcasting. I'll post the link in the chat here. So it's just Anchor, ANCHOR.FM. They have a free podcast hosting service, completely free. You can get started. They have a couple of tools you can record your podcast with, and it's a great way just to get started. And you know, they put their branding on things, but for free, it's a great starting point. If you're looking to get for a paid option, there's podcast.co, which is the one that I use. I like that one. Put the link there. And there's also like Libsyn's the most popular one. And
Are those only audio podcasts? Or do they do video as well?
They're only audio as far as I know.
Okay. Just seems like a lot of the bigger podcasts now are all video. They're calling them podcasts, but it's almost not anymore.
Yeah, Libsyn
podcast to me is audio.
Yeah, to me a podcast is audio. If you're doing video, just stick to YouTube because there's a much bigger audience on there of people being able to find your video.
I think it's because of Joe Rogan, literally, because it was Joe Rogan podcast, but now the videos are more popular than any of the downloads.
Yeah,
even though he signed that huge contract with Spotify.
Let me find Gail's question here. Gail had a really good question about the way that she's going to be pivoting a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So she teaches Microsoft Office software, so like Word, I guess, and and Excel. And she said that she wants to morph over or pivot over to talking about time management and self-help. And she loves your material, Justin, but struggles with a way to find how to join those two categories together in a way that provides value and makes sense. Any suggestions?
Interesting.
So yeah, like as soon as I hear that, like I just think productivity in general is a great overall way to add that, where you're having Microsoft tools and productivity with time management. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would start by saying, do any of those existing clients or students that you've been teaching those skills to need any of these kind of higher level, productivity / personal improvement type of skills? The answer is likely yes. All you need to do is package it up in a way that speaks to that particular audience, which is actually better than, we get a lot of people that come to our help desk in our inbox saying, I'm starting a self-help blog. How do I use your PLR? And I'm thinking that's not specific enough. Like, who is the self-help or the motivational content for, right? You want to narrow it down to a specific type of person or a specific group of people so that you can speak the same language. So I would say you actually have an advantage there because you already know that it's this group of maybe tech people that came to you for the textile training, and now you can add additional courses into your portfolio, but with that slant for people that came to you for that tech knowledge. So I don't know your exact business or your branding or what it is you're doing, but I would say definitely leverage that because that's your advantage to make your offers unique. You could take literally any product from the Tools for Motivation catalog and put this sort of tech slant on it. And now you've got self-help content that's unique to that audience. It's very rarely what I say, just start a self-help blog, giving people, general motivational tips like that. That's the most flooded thing on the internet, period. But when it's like very specific, like imagine, mindset and productivity tips for personal trainers who need to rebuild their business online. Right? That's a huge market right now, but it's a very specific audience because so many people have lost their gyms and they can't reopen right now, or they've literally lost the gym and they're not reopening, but they still have all those skills. They need to monetize them in a different way. So helping those people get remotivated and find a new passion for what they were doing before in a different light is a self-help market that you can make money in versus general self-help. So use it to your advantage. I don't know if that answers your question. I'd probably have to chat with you a bit more in terms of how you might want to do it, but hopefully that gives you a starting point.
Yeah, and time management can stand alone as its own topic too. Maybe you're making a course or a training program just on time management, and people who are going to be using Microsoft Office, and and they're all going to need time management if they don't already manage their time well. So it's just a good additional product that I think ties in well.
Yeah, and you could also go further. Like, what is it they were doing with those skills? Were they people in a specific vertical or industry? Is it just general people from the community that were coming to like college style setting to learn these skills? So I'd need to know a bit more about your actual students, but there's definitely something there. Absolutely.
Tony says he uses PLR for self-image and self-confidence for youth success training, and using Zoom groups when school has been out.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the more specific you can get, the better, right? Because then it really speaks to your audience more specifically.
Yeah, and that's a big one too, right? Youth success. Like even for me, as a parent right now, having to do a lot of the homeschooling for my kids, it's a big job, and I'm just starting to realize. First of all, I have way more appreciation than I used to have for teachers. Second of all, I'm kind of, I want to make sure they don't fall behind because of my lack of understanding of how to teach them correctly. So something like that is like the perfect solution to a lot of people's problems. It's an easy, Tony could easily strike up a conversation with any parent right now and probably get them to look at his stuff. And if he's using PLR to expand that, then, instead of one piece of content catching the attention of the parents, you could have 30, right? Just taking some PLR and adding a little story here and there, but constantly, sharing his business and his message of, hey, I teach self-image and self-confidence for youth. And a little tip from Christian saying about productivity, I would recommend Darren Hardy and Tiny Habits of BJ Fogg. I've never heard of that person, but I've definitely heard of Darren Hardy.
Yeah, we'll check those out.
Great. The book I'm reading right now is Limitless by Jim Quick, and that's really good.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, he's really good. Cool. So there was one other question sent in advance. I want to hit it quickly here just because it's a quick one from Adriana saying, is it possible to translate PLR into other languages and use it according to the license allowed? I wanted to mention this because this is definitely not the first time it's been asked. We have a growing number of customers in South America. So people looking to translate it into Portuguese and Spanish, but also in different parts of Europe. And the answer is absolutely yes. Our main thing is that you're following the rules or sort of the stipulations in the PLR license. And our big thing with our licensing is that you're just using the PLR correctly in the sense of, let's say for a package like here, this is Regaining Focus, the one that's coming out next week. So we have these full products come with 4 folders of content. The first folder here, I'm just going to expand them all out. The first folder is called Premium, and all the material in this folder is designed for you to sell, or it's quote unquote premium, meaning we don't want people just finding this anywhere online. It's for your customers or your clients, or for you to put into your courses or your membership sites like we've been talking about on this call. So we don't want you taking the workbook out of this package and then just publishing that PDF right on your blog or on like a document sharing website. That's not what it's intended for. It's intended to be part of your premium portfolio. Now, premium can mean lead generation or it can mean sales. All we ask is that you don't publish it for free on a blog or a social post. That's what the branding and the social folders are for. We've got articles and slide decks and tweets and all that different stuff in those folders for those purposes. So from a language perspective, we highly encourage it. I'd love to see more of our content translated and get some examples of people using it, because I know it's an underserved market for sure. Like there's huge market in Spanish speaking world, and definitely Portuguese as well. Also French, German, but if you want to take one of our products and translate it, then at least you've got some content to run with, and by all means. I'd love to see what you do with it, Adriana, if you're watching this replay. She's here. Great. So yeah, absolutely. Let me know what you end up doing with it. But
Italian, perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And if I come across any Italian PLR, I'll definitely let you know. I haven't heard of any yet. It doesn't seem to be a business model outside of English, really. I don't think I've seen PLR in any other language.
Gail says, thanks, Justin and Chad. That helps. I have business clients and also teach at a couple of local colleges, continuing education. So a cross-section audience, but agree that your PLR would work as a crossover. We'll give it a try. Cool.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for that question, Gail. I've done the same. I've actually done, when I first started my business, I was getting my name out in my local business community by teaching at colleges. So it's a good way of just kind of understanding how to interact with people and what kind of stuff people need. So it's a bit of a marketing experiment, but it's also good for branding. Thank you for joining in. Looks like Gail has to leave, but I do appreciate your question, Gail, and we can always pick that up again.
Yes, thanks.
Oh, cool. More Alexandra's saying she's going to translate it into Polish. That's great. Awesome. So we're going to get a bunch of translated tools for motivation products here.
I love it. That's great.
Cool.
Did you have any other slides there, Justin? I can't see.
No, I had a couple of other just backup points to talk about in case we were low on questions, but we've gone an hour here. And I thought we've covered some good stuff, right? I really liked Ben's question about having a video membership and an audio membership. That's on a lot of people's minds. So hopefully Chad gave some great tips to you guys there. Hopefully you can run with what he has. But if anybody is looking for a bit more of the low level bits and pieces, sort of tactical how-tos, and you're stuck, let us know at our help desk at Tools for Motivation, because we do have other training. And in fact, Chad, you and I have done some lower level stuff.
Yeah, we've done some training together. I also have the membership ignition training I can give these guys if they really want to learn membership stuff.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
The membership ignition training that I have, I can hook the guys in the webinar here up with that course if they want it. Just have them email me. I'll put my email in the chat here.
Yeah, just email Chad. He's got the webinar ignition.
Membership ignition is the training where I go over setting up
that's a really good
WordPress based one. So I can give that to you guys.
Chad will get you a very good deal.
We get you in. Yeah, thanks for joining us on this and sticking around for the hour, guys. Really appreciate it. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll kind of leave it at that. If anybody's watching this on the recording and you want to get in live on the next one, we've had some people asking about varying times, maybe changing it up. So I will look into that. It's a bit harder right now because daytime is when I get most of these kind of things done, and then get back to the kids kind of stuff. But I'll see if we can maybe get something more like evening time frame for Chad and I, and that would maybe move it later in the morning for people on the opposite side of the world. They don't have to.
Tricky with all the time zones, but I'm sure we'll try and find a good spot in the middle.
But definitely don't be shy about it. Let us know so that we can try to balance it, and we'll kind of roll with it from there. And I'm just going to take one last look here at the chat just to see if anybody's asking any other questions. No, it looks like everybody's just kind of saying thank you and all the pleasantries. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. So thank you for all of you that tuned in live, asking great questions. And for those of you on the recording, appreciate you watching. Hope you got value from this. Keep the questions coming. The help desk is always active. Melody, Nigel, myself, we're constantly looking and listening and trying to just do what we can to give you as much info and ideas to get this PLR into action. Every year I do this, the more time that goes on, I believe more and more in what we do here. I think it's one of the best tools that you can have for building a business online, combined with some of the stuff we've learned between Chad and myself over the years, like decade each plus. We've got a lot of stuff we can share, and if it works, I'll share it. Whatever this is popping up. So yeah, let's just keep this going, because I really like the sort of community vibe that we're building here, and
that's great.
We'll roll with it. So thank you, Chad.
Thanks for inviting me on. It's great. And any questions, you can reach out to myself or Justin. We're always here to help.
Thanks again.